Parshas Massei is also always one of the parshas that we read during the 3 weeks. So very interesting about the structure of the parsha. It's Golus Eretz Yisrael, Golus Eretz Yisrael. It starts off with the Massos, right? Then it talks about how to apportion out the land, right? And then it speaks about also a sugya of Golus, the Rotzeach Nefesh Bishkaga. He goes into Golus. And it ends off with the halacha that was instituted, which we overturned on Tu B'Av, that so that the nachla and Eretz Yisrael shouldn't go mimater lamater. Women who get inheritance have to marry within their own tribe, which was the halacha for who knows how long until they overturned it in a later generation during Tu B'Av. It's very interesting, the structure. Golus Eretz Yisrael, Golus Eretz Yisrael. In the very beginning of the parsha, when just Eilu Massei B'nei Yisrael Eretz Yisrael L'Tzion Sam B'Yam Moshvaron, Vayichtav Moshe Es Motzaim L'Masei. Moshe wrote their points of departure, to their travels. Al Pi Hashem. Ve'ela Masa'ehem L'Motzaim. It's from Motzaim L'Masa'ehem, right? From where they departed from. Motzah, Lashon Tzei, right? Motzaim L'Masa'ehem, where they departed from for their travels. And these are their travels L'Motzaehem. So it's from Motzah to Masa, Masa to Motzah. Right? So it needs an explanation. Now, why the Masos written in the Torah is something that the Rishonim talk about. Why was this necessary? So amongst the different things that are written, the Rambam writes in Mordechai, it's from Sisrei Torah. He says a reason I'll peep shop, but he says it's mamish from Sisrei Torah, the Masos. All the Chasir Shesfarim from all the different streams bring a Kabbalah from the Besht. You'll see it in different Chasir Shesfarim from different schools. So it seems to be that the Baal Shem Tov really said it, that just like Am Yisrael went on to 42 Masos, every Neshama has to make 42 Masos. It could be the explanation of why people move house so often. So, So we'll discuss what that means in a second. Everyone's got to make 42 Masos. So Rashi brings a medrash, right, that says that a king went with his son on a travel to get him healed, and on the way back they say, remember that place, that's where your head hurt, you remember that place, that's where we were cold. So also HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Mined kol ha-mekoimos shechisuni. It's the full lashon of the medrash. Right? Write down all these times where Am Yisrael got me angry and they got into fights with me. Right? So somehow it's supposed to be symmetrical with this metaphor that the nostalgia when the king is coming back from a travel he went on to get his son healed. Or remember that place, remember that place. To understand what this means. There's seemingly a contradiction in what we see in this week's parsha and what we read in Parshas Mishpatim. Not one that's hard to resolve. In this week's parsha, we get the tzivui of Orei Miklat, right? And it's supposed to be 6 of them. 3 in Eretz Yisrael, 3 in Ever HaYarden. Now, in Parshas Mishpatim, right? There's actually the Torah mentions in short form the din of Makenes B'Shashgaga. Right? So says the pasuk, V'samti l'cha makom asher yonus shama. Right? One makom. So now, al pi pshat, there's a way to resolve it. The Sifsei Chacham deals with this, that it could be that in Parshas Mishpatim, it was talking about in the midbar. So now, in the midbar, if a person killed Bishgaga, if such thing would ever happen, he had only one place to run to, Machane Leviyah. Machane Leviyah. Right? But could be that we could suggest something in addition to that, right? About it, that there could be multiple extensions of the same place. Right? The Rashi, in Parshas Massei, when it talks about the Gvulos of Eretz Yisrael, so Rashi says the Gvulos are important, so we have to know where the mitzvahs atluyas ba'aretz apply. So. This was when people were sane, when no one wanted open borders, right? This is what do you mean? You need to know the gvulas, to know the mitzvahs atluyas ba'aretz. Everyone's got to know where the boundaries of his sovereign nation is, right? What's pshat in Rashi? So the Sfarim explain like this: Massei, it's not the pshat that we need Eretz Yisrael to survive. That you're only safe within your territorial boundaries. Not true. Am Yisrael could survive anywhere. As like the Maral brings in the Sefer HaNetzach, right, for the Chazal, for the Pasuk says that, Ka'ar beruchos parasti eschem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says about us that he spread us out like the four winds, which seemingly refers to the goals. But Chazal say in that interesting drasha, Kishem she'i efshar la'olam below ruchos, kach i efshar la'olam below Yisrael. We were spread out like the four winds, right? Just like the world needs winds, the world needs Am Yisrael, right? So what's right? Explains the Maharal, right? That really the whole Bereshis, B'shvil Yisrael Shnikru Reish, B'shvil Torah, the whole world is for Klal Yisrael, right? And the whole world needs Klal Yisrael, right? Klal Yisrael and the Torah really could survive anywhere, right? And this is the secret of Jewish survival. We promised to speak about this last night, right? That wherever Am Yisrael went, they're able to set up a kehillah, right, and thrive. It's an amazing thing. Now, Jews could really live anywhere if you're talking about their survival, right? Because the whole world is for Klal Yisrael. The whole world is for the Torah. The amazing, there's a famous Gemara in Yuma, Daf Samach Tes Amud Beis, about Anshe Knesset Agdol. Why are they called Anshe Knesset Agdol? Shechziru Torah liyoshna. Because Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hakel, Hagadol, Hagibor, Vanora, which even before Anshe Knesset Agdola made it institution, Jews adopted that in their informal prayers. They used to say, Hagadol, Hagibor, Vanor, copying Moshe Rabbeinu. Then happened Churban Abayis. Right? So Daniel said, Goyim Mishtabim Abanav, Aye Gvuroisav. So he didn't say Gibor. Right? And Yirmiyahu said, Goyim Mechalkarim Behecholo, Aye No Rosav. So he stopped saying Noira. And then came Anshe Knesset Agdola, V'echziru Ator Liyoshna, and said, Adarabba, Hein Hein Gvuroisav, Hein Hein Noiroisav. Right? Hein Hein Gvuroisav, that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Kovesh Kaso and Marich Af, and doesn't totally wipe out the Goyim for oppressing Jewish people. V'hein hein no rosav she'ilmole moro she'HaKadosh Baruch Hu ha'ech uma yachol iskayim bena umos. And the Noira of that place that's called Manor Makom Zeh is that if not for Moiro Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu ha'ech uma yachol iskayim bena umos. It's a secret of Jewish survival, right? And this has to do with the Chazal. Right, Miyom shenechva beis mikdashenu ein la'koshul bo lomo dar l'amashalocha bilvad. Right, that the dar l'amashalocha is instead of the Beis Hamikdash, and that means that wherever people learn Torah, an embassy of the Beis Hamikdash opens up. And right, that's the secret of Jewish survival. That place that's called Manor Makom Zeh, that's Moro Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that allows an ummah to be miskayim ben umos. Wherever we go, right, we take the power of Torah and Eretz Yisrael with us, and a space opens up for us. Right, like the Ribar Shalom says, by the Rotzeach Nefesh Bishkaga, he lost his place in society. He has to go into Gos. The Ribar says, V'samti l'chol makom. He artificially gets a place. Right? He gets a place wherever he is. Right? So now, in the time of the Midbar, that was one place. Right, but in the time when we live in Eretz Yisrael, that was diversified to 6 places, and it's all extensions of the same place. V'samti l'chol makom, the Ribono Shel Olam, gives us a place wherever we are. So even though we're the physical ground beneath our feet is not our own, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us place. That wherever Am Yisrael goes, wherever Am Yisrael learns Torah, right, a portal opens up, an embassy of Eretz Yisrael, and that's how we survive. That's how we actually not survive. We thrive. And that's what it means. The Gemara says in Brachas that Rav Yochanan heard Ika Savei B'Bavel. There are old people in Bavel, people living to old ages, right? Longevity, right? And he was for Komitame, he didn't understand it because it says Al Ha'adama. You only have Leman Yibri and Mechem. Then we heard that they're Magdim and Mashchich, they come early and they stay late in the base Batei Knesios. He didn't have any more questions. So what that Gemara implies is that the base Medrash and the base HaKnesset is an embassy of Eretz Yisrael. Wherever there's a Kehillah and a Mokum Torah, so a portal opens up, and that explains another Chazal. Chazal say the Asidim, Batei Knesset, B'Bava li Akar Mimkomam v'li Kava be'Eretz Yisrael. The Lasu Lavo, all the shuls and the Batei Midrashas in the Gauls are going to be uprooted, and they're going to be brought into Eretz Yisrael because these things are embassies. They're embassies of Eretz Yisrael, wherever we are, right? And that's the secret of Jewish survival, right? That in the wherever we go, right? We take the Torah with us, and that's the side of what Chazal say in the Mishnahs, Heve goyle l'makom Torah, Right? When you go into Golos, you're supposed to get out of your comfort zone and you go to a Makom Torah. Torah is called a Makom Torah. A Makom Torah. The Torah gives you a Makom wherever we are. The Torah gave us a Makom, and that's how we thrived. And that's what's as we're precedented here in the Massos. The Massos were all about precedenting. It was all a hachana, right, for how the Jewish people are going to go into Golos, and they went with these Massos, with the Aron. The Aron was Nosei Alifnei Vaibid Sar Aron, which is the Torah. And it was, as it were, conditioning those places that they were walking, just like Chazal say in the Poshep Pshat, that the Nechoshim and the Akravim, with the Aron, in motion, it just, it eliminated them to make it physically safe. It also made it spiritually safe, that Am Yisrael as a culture could thrive there. So here's an amazing thing. The Gemara says in Shabbos that we learn out all the malachas from the Mishkan. So Soiser is only chayiv if it's Soiser Almanas Livnos. So the question that the Gemara asks is like this, right? How about if you're Soiser here and you use the lumber, to build over there? Soiser Almanas Livnos Shelo Bimkomo. Is that chayiv or not? Or does that to be Soiser Almanas Livnos in the same place, right? So the Gemara says, well, we learn it all from the Mishkan. So, Bain and Sosa was on for Mishkan itself. They took it apart here, and they built it there. They took it apart when they went into transit. So it's a raya that should be that Soisa Amanas Livnos in another place is chayiv. Says Gemara, no, because it was Al Pi Hashem Yachanu, Val Pi Hashem Yiso, Kisoisa Amanas Livnos Bimkomo Dami. Since wherever they went Al Pi Hashem, right? So it's called that they always in the same place. Because they didn't go, they weren't actually changing location in a secular sense. They're always in one place, always with Pi Hashem, always going just where HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted them, right? Which means that even many, many different makomos are all called the same makom. If you're going in that bubble called Pi Hashem, which is how the Jew travels, and that's how the wandering Jew survives, right? It's all called the same place. So similarly, in next week's parsha, right, Ho Moshe Beras HaTorah Azos, what does Rashi say? He said it b'shivim lashon. Why did the Torah have to be said b'shivim lashon? Who there spoke French? Right. What does that mean? What was the point in that? Because the Indian of all these parshas that we read during the 3 weeks is that how already hachonis for Am Yisrael having to be in the Golus, was already set up. The Massos was all the idea that we're going to be traveling, right? The Indian that the Torah would be said b'shivim means that the Torah would thrive. Right, wherever we were, right. So we go under these different umos and lashonos would be shoyed over us. Well, the Torah could also be said in that language, and that was setting up a hachon that the Torah will thrive wherever we are. Right, that the Torah will have, Reb Chaim gave shir in Yiddish, right? Bali Tosfos, they all said, and the Ramban, the Raj Baritva, they spoke Ladino, right? Wherever they went, the Torah was nislabish in these lashonos, and there was like making a makom for Torah. Achona to make a makom for Torah in all the different places that we're going to be. Right? And it's all called, right, that everywhere we never really left Eretz Yisrael, and everything we're going to, when we go back, we're going to drag it all with us, like that Chazal we quoted before, all the Batei Knesset Basir are going to be Ne'akar Mimkom and come back to Eretz Yisrael. Right? And that's what the big yesod that the Maharal says in the Sefer Netzach Yisrael, that the Golus is all a hachana for the Geula. Right? We are going into Golus to pick up the aspects of Eretz Yisrael, because everything is connected to Eretz Yisrael. The whole world's before the Torah, right? But Eretz Yisrael is the Nekudas HaMerkaz, right? So before that famous Rashi, Bereshis, B'shul HaToshik Reishis, right? B'shul Yisrael Shlik Reishis, there's a Rashi actually before that, the very first Rashi in Torah. That Haya Torah Latko Me'achorish Zelachem, it's the first mitzvah. Why Matam Pasach B'Bereshis Bara? Koach Masav Yigid La'amo Losev Nachlas Goyim. That if the Goyim ever say you stole Eretz Shiva Sa'amamin, we say the whole world belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? The whole yin of Bria Sa'olam comes into play by Eretz Yisrael. Right? Because Eretz Yisrael is connected to the whole wide world. Right? It's the point center of the globe. Right? We need to live in Eretz Yisrael, like Rashi says, to be Mekayim more mitzvahs, that we can't be Mekayim in Chutzarts. But we could survive anywhere, because everything is for Klai Yisrael, and everything is for the Torah. And just Eretz Yisrael is the Nekudas HaMerkaz, the David Nifla, and it's called Eretz Shiva Sa'umas, right? The land of the 7 nations. Right? That's concentrated in that small piece of land. 7 nations. What are 7 nations? Keneged, Shteit, and Svarim. Keneged the 7 midas that need tikkun, the 7 that we call Teva. Keneged the 7 weeks of the Omer, all the 7 that are called nature. How much is there in the big picture? How many nations are there by the biblical perspective? Shivim, right? Right. Right. Shivim umos. That's the mispar gadol of 7. Eretz Yisrael is a microcosm of the whole world. And if we conquer Eretz Yisrael, we rule the whole world. We rule the whole world from there. Plan A was, right? Plan A would have been that from Eretz Yisrael, to be hooked up into all the Kedusha that spread around the world, and from there, from Point Center, control it and incorporate it. That's if we would have been Zeicha, right? We weren't Zeicha, right? So now we have to go and collect it, piece by piece. But again, we're collecting the kochos that extend out from Eretz Yisrael, and we're bringing them back to Eretz Yisrael. And that goes back to what Rashi says, which explained very well, Alpidi is sort of the Maharal, right? The mashal that Rashi brings is that a king went on a far, far journey. Ubechazarosam, on the way back, they're counting and they're being nostalgic. Remember that place. So as Moshe says, is commanded by Hashem, write all those places in the Torah, all these places where there was chaos, right? But we overcame those challenges, right? And we did tshuva because of the challenges that we had there. We wrote new svarim for the shalos that arose, and we're taking that all back to Eretz Yisrael with us. An amazing thing, right? Now we've come back after starting to come back after 1900 years of Golus, and there's things Ashkenazim, Sfardim, there's Belz, Lubavitch. These are all names of places in Chutz La'aretz, right? And they're all being nikva in Eretz Yisrael, right? They're talking about that we took the nitzotzos, we took the aspect of Eretz Yisrael and the kedusha that was there, and we're yanking it back with us, right? And this was all a hachana that was made for us there in the midbar, right? Now we were supposed to do it from Eretz Yisrael and always to be on the go and on the move to steig more and more, and from Eretz Yisrael to suck out the koach HaKedusha that's spread throughout the globe. We weren't zochas. Now you have to go pick it up piece by piece, and that's what the pasuk says. It is Massei and Massei. It's a point of departure to our travels. But it goes full circle. That when HaKadosh threw us into Golus, it was for the tachlis of making it back to Eretz Yisrael. Go the long way around. That if you're not going to pick up the sparks from your place in Point Center, you're not going to control the world from there. You're going to have to go around the world and bring it back to Point Center. Bimhera b'yameinu. Amen.